out there, collectors, hobbyists, and streaming internet show enthusiasts, and welcome. Tonight is closing night for our fall auction, and we're going to take you from right now through extended bidding at 10 p.m. Central Time in 2 hours and beyond. And joining me as always, but not right here next to me, is Mr. Tony Giese. Tony, how you doing out there?
I'm there in spirit.
Yeah, well, you're also here via the magic of the internet. So where are you?
Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? Technology at its finest.
Where are you at, Tony? Let the people know.
I am in Chicago for the big show this weekend. It's been a great show so far. A lot of people, very big crowd for a Friday, and we're anticipating a lot of people coming in over the weekend. Great autograph guests, and it's been busy.
Who's the top autograph guest there?
Peyton Manning will be here, but a guy who doesn't sign a lot, Terrell Owens, will also be signing. He's charging a lot of money, but that being said, it's a chance to get his signature, and he doesn't do a lot of signings now. So
get your popcorn ready, Tony. Get your popcorn ready. I want a picture of you and T.O. before weekend's end. All right.
If Pete Calderon doesn't kill me, I will have that done.
And we'll say 50-50 on that. So
usually on Sunday about 4 o'clock, he's ready to kill me. So
session 1 closed last night. That was all the cards. Some amazing results, vintage and modern. We're going to talk about those a little bit later. But tonight's the memorabilia. And why are we doing the show on night 2 instead of night 1? The collections, Tony. We have some incredible collections from elite Hall of Famers tonight that are coming directly from their family, headlined, of course, by the Alkaline collection, but we also have the Lou Brock collection, the Jack Youngblood collection, the Dave Wilcox collection, and then 2 big collections from collectors, the Matt Swiatek Bears collection. He was Hallis's right-hand man, and then Glenn Christensen's Green Bay Packers collection, all closing tonight. Hundreds and hundreds of pieces of memorabilia, every sport and non-sport, vintage and modern, whatever you collect, gamers, autographs, trophies, awards, art, photographs, tickets, programs. What am I missing, Tony?
You're missing nothing. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this because there's a lot of material that has never surfaced before. And, some of that Bears collection, it was just amazing. And we'll be talking about a lot of it tonight. But there was one piece in there that still to this day, if you'd have saw my reaction, I didn't know that was coming in. And when I finally saw it, my eyes almost popped out of my head.
And we all know it's very difficult to get Tony excited. So
a lot of hugs today, Mike. A lot of hugs today.
But a lot of one-of-a-kind items. We're going to talk about our favorites, things that are getting heavy bids, things that may be good deals, and, of course, highlight all those collections. Tony, right off the top, what's the top item that's your absolute favorite? Maybe not the most valuable, but your favorite.
I mean, as a football fan, the Charles Bidwell, George Halas agreement from 1939, for true football autograph collectors, it is Bidwell is probably the second hardest autograph to get. That one really stands out to me. Some of the photography, some of the items that were at Halas Hall that were there, in the 70s and 80s, a lot of those items are, again, fresh to the industry. Some of that stuff to me really, really stands out. But the player collections are great because, they've never been offered before. And we're going to be talking about K-Line. We'll be talking about Youngblood and Wilcox and Lou Brock. But just there's so much quality. There's so much quality that is in this auction that it's just amazing. It really is.
For me, Tony, it's Tom Landry's hat, which I know you brought in.
I did. And there's such a great story behind that. And, there's not with Bear Bryant, you see a lot of his shark tooth hats. But Landry,
we also have a Bear Bryant hat in this auction as well. That's tomorrow night.
That's tomorrow night. But Landry, there's not a lot of stuff of his out there. And when you think of him, and we drive on Tom Landry Expressway and everything, and it's the hat. It's the thing that he was known for. And this one here, I mean, $6,250 right now. That thing conceivably could go for $10,000. It wouldn't shock me. there's just not a lot of his stuff out there. And for coaches, that's what he's known for, is that hat.
Of course, we never wear any of the items that we have, but I have never, in 15 years at Heritage, I have never been more tempted than I was by that item. Obviously, I am not worthy to place that upon my head, but one lucky bidder is going to get that opportunity tonight, because once they win it, you can do with it as you like. But some great items. So let's get into it. One huge segment of this auction is the game-worn jerseys. There are so many. There's hundreds and hundreds of game-worn jerseys from some of the biggest names in sport. So let's start there. And of course, we got to start with the crowning jewel, the first item, 1954 Mickey Mantle game-worn jersey. Unbelievable. Just saying his name, that's all you have to say. He is royalty in the hobby, of course, and precious few of his gamers out there. And this one is from 1954. A big year for Mantle. That's when he really broke out. He improved in all statistical categories. He batted 300. He had 100 RBIs for the first time. Over 100. He had 102. And he only did that 4 times in his career. And he led the American League with 129 runs scored. So just an iconic piece. This is the kind of item that upgrades even the most distinguished collection. And one of those things that you'd love to see it when it comes in. You know, we've seen everything, but when this comes in, the whole department stops down. Everybody's got to take a look. And just to see that iconic number 7 on the back.
Yeah, it's so difficult to find a Yankees, especially a Mantle, in all original condition without any restoration, with the number and the interlock and the New York being original. It's one of the only ones that is original with no restoration or anything like that. It's one of the nicest Mantles that there is, and it's from his heyday. It's from when he was at his absolute height. You'll see some things from the end of his career, but this is like at the absolute when he was just winning World Series. He was MVPs and everything like that. It's a really, really nice Mantle.
Yeah, love it. Nice autograph from him. Triple authenticated with PSA, Beckett, and JSA there. So a huge piece. And of course, if we're going to talk Mantle, then we got to talk about this Joe Dimaggio Gamer. One of my favorites in the auction as well. It's from 1946. It's been photo matched to the home opener in Yankee Stadium that year. And it was his first game back from his World War II service. So his first game since 1942. That is just huge. And he had an incredible game. Three hits and 5 at-bats. 2 were doubles, including in the bottom of the 9th, he doubled in the tying run, and the Yankees ended up winning 4-3. So not just photo matched to any game, but a game where he was involved in the 9th inning heroics to win it for the Yankees. And it's photo matched to an image of him with Joe Jr. in the dugout before the game. That is a great addition. Photo matching is so important. And a lot of times the photo is just some random photo, of course, or something where they're standing because it's easier to match. But this one is really poignant. Of course, Joe Jr., very glad to have his dad back from the war. And you can see it on his face right there. So you got Joe and Joe Jr. in the photo matched image. And I love that aspect of it.
Yeah, it is. I mean, this one checks all the boxes, as we like to say. Photo matched Dimaggio, it's just so difficult on that kind of stuff to find that stuff, to photo match it, and that's definitively photo matched.
Nailed it.
One of the nicest Dimaggios in the hobby. I mean, you got one of the nicest Mantles and one of the nicest Dimaggios. Those things are gonna, it's a great investment piece. It's an unbelievable investment piece.
All right, what caught your eye, Tony? What do you got over there?
I've got some game use bats that I would like to talk about. Up first, well, actually, no, we got a Harman Killebrew.
You're already getting out of order. Tony gets all excited.
Oh man, I get so excited, and then I just drop the ball totally. No, we got a absolute beautiful 1971 Harman Killebrew game used Twins jersey signed on the front. Excellent use on it. 2-color tackle twill for the name on the front, the number on back. Just really great condition. Shows the excellent use. And then, of course, in the tail, you've got the year and the set 2 with the Spalding and the size indicator. Just a great quality Twins gamer of Killebrew. We actually have 2 of them in this auction. So just a solid jersey of Mr. Twin.
There you go. We'll keep going, Tony. I'm not going to slow you.
Okay, after that, we've got a 1975 Jim Palmer game used Orioles jersey from his Cy Young season. I think this is a really good investment piece because it is used from, during a Cy Young season. A lot of the knits, especially 70s knits, have gone up in value quite a bit. Flannels, a lot of times they get too expensive, but the knits are starting to really make a pretty good rise in our hobby. And this one here is one of the nicest Palmers you could own. I love that it's got the name on the back and shows really good use. Set 1 from 1975. Cy Young season, probably, one of the greatest pitchers of the 70s, of course, if not of all time. So it's a really nice Palmer game used jersey.
And like you said with the Mantle, that's right in his prime at the zenith of his career, arguably his best season. So that's something collectors love. Of course, any Palmer jersey is going to have value, but when you can say it was from a Cy Young season and possibly his best season, that really elevates it just another level.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that's just such a great selling point. Some just outstanding jerseys in this auction. I mean, if you're a Yankee fan, how can you beat those two? How can you beat the Mantle, the Dimaggio, and they're just top tier jerseys?
Absolutely. And I'm going to keep going with the gamers, Tony. This is a 1956 Stan Musial game worn jersey. And what's special about 1956 and the Cardinals, you might ask? So the Cardinals have worn the Birds and Bats version of their jersey every year from 1928 to this season, except once in 1956. So this is a 1-year departure, a 1-year example, and the greatest player you could have from that 1 year, of course, the legendary Stan Musial. We sold his collection a few years ago, and this is a great style too. It's got the bird patch on the left sleeve, and another one where he had a great season. He led the National League with 109 RBIs that year. And since it's the road jersey, they were only issued 2. There's a 50-50 chance he wore this jersey in Griffith Stadium for the All-Star game that year. So very cool. If you're a Musial or Cardinals collector, this is like a holy grail. I'd never seen this style before. They only wore it the 1 year and then said, well, we should go back to that iconic look that everybody likes. But a cool script style here as well. And yeah, a 1-year style from the legendary Stan Musial right there.
And I know we've talked about Musial a lot. He's one of the guys that you never ever hear anybody say a bad word about him.
Absolutely. He was beloved.
You never hear anything negative about Stan Musial. He was a classy individual. And yeah, I mean, it's such a gorgeous style with the team name in cursive and underscored. Yeah, there's a lot of bells and whistles on that jersey. Gorgeous jersey.
I remember when we sold his collection, there was a bag of autographed dollar bills that he would give those out. He got so many autograph requests, like Babe Ruth with the business cards. He pre-signed them, and then they were folded into origami. And his kids said they used to do that with him. He'd sign them, and they'd fold them up. And there was thousands of them that he'd had in reserve to take out with him when he traveled.
Just in case.
He kept them in his pocket. So yeah, another beloved figure and one of the greatest players of all time. And you talked about Killebrew. I love that Killebrew jersey you talked about. This next one is from 1961, which any Twins fan will tell you was their first year in Minnesota. So the breaking of the franchise there out in the Twin Cities and this beautiful pinstripe design. And another one, it's photo matched as well. Photo matched another picture of him with a young fan. And another season where he had an incredible year. He had 46 home runs behind, of course, just Mantle and Maris in that 61 season. And yeah, after 6 decades in DC, this was their first year in Minnesota. One of the greatest players in franchise history, and really great wear on this one too. and you got to love that pinstripe style, right, Tony?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's such a selling point. And I mean, it's Killebrew, it's early Twins. I mean, how do you top that? And I love that patch on the side, the Win Twins or whatever that is. I think it says Win Twins.
It's cool with that to think about how excited everybody was, you know, getting the franchise for the first time. They have a great player, a Hall of Fame player, one of the best players in the league. And this is what they ran out of the dugout in that first year with the Minnesota fans welcoming them.
I mean, and he's the team's signature star, too.
Yeah,
I mean, Killebrew, you know, he was such a beloved figure. And he, you know, he's another one. You never hear anything bad about Harman Killebrew. He was just such a nice man. And, you know, we have two just outstanding flannel jerseys from his career, a home and a road. So you can win them both and have, you know, take care of both angles of it.
The killer, just a nickname there, not an actual description of him. All right, you got another gamer you want to talk about, Tony?
I do. What do we have up here? Yes, we have a 1989 Wade Boggs. And when you talk hitting, Wade Boggs in the 80s, I don't think there was anybody better than him. I mean, it was basically him and Tony Gwynn. Boggs in the American League, Gwynn in the National League. And this one, you know, we're talking about quality knit jerseys. This one takes a backseat to none of them. Photo matched from the All-Star game, no less. Great Boggs. Extensive use on it. Photo match to the All-Star game. You know, Boggs wasn't known as a home run hitter, but anytime you have an All-Star jersey, adds a special ingredient to it. Great use, photo matched. It's at 5,600 right now. This wouldn't shock me if it reaches 5 figures, just because it's one of the nicest Red Sox jerseys of Boggs and also photo matched. Just, I mean, this guy could do it all. He could do it all, and you know, he was one of the best hitters of his era or any era.
And he hit a home run in that All-Star game in that jersey.
Yes.
So hard to come by All-Star home run jersey from Hall of Famer like that.
Yeah. One of the absolute greats.
So this next item, it's a baseball item, but from someone more well-known, of course, for basketball, but something you love to see. These are a 1994 Michael Jordan game-worn Birmingham Barons cleats. So tough to find. You know, he had the small stint of baseball. Everybody loves to talk about it. And if you're a Jordan collector, the baseball items are incredibly hard to find. And these come from the Birmingham Barons trainer. You can see in the listings, there's some photos of Jordan with our consigner and wearing this style of cleats, possibly this pair. And the cool thing about them is these are the metal cleats, not the composite. They're custom black leather Nikes with the Air Jordan tag sewn to the tongue, of course. And you got the Jumpman logo and the number 45, an Air stamped on the midsoles, and tremendous wear on these. You know, they talked about a lot how he was just one of the guys. He didn't want to be known when he was there as the global superstar. You know, he did everything with the team and put a lot of wear into these cleats. So it obviously wasn't like with these sneakers, wear them one game and then move along. And, you know, everybody gives him a lot of grief for failing at baseball. But we found this quote from Terry Francona, his manager with the Barons, who would make it to the bigs and have some championship glory. He said he had it all: ability, attitude, and work ethic. He was always so respectful of what we were doing and considerate of his teammates. I do think with another 1,000 at-bats, he would have made it to the big leagues. So there's his manager right there saying he just needed a little more time, but he decided to go back to basketball and become the best player in the league again. So there you go.
Yeah, I mean, you know, on that piece, when you look at it, it really comes down to provenance, and that it has it outstanding provenance, outstanding use as well. I mean, you know, if you want a Jordan cleats, these are just outstanding with great provenance, no less. So yeah, just a great pair, and you're seeing his stuff go up and up and up. And I mean, you're seeing the basketball stuff getting to levels that nobody ever figured it would. It'll happen with his baseball stuff too. I mean, these are at a very good number right now. And
some great items from that same consigner. There's a bat. You got a jersey, some Jordan compression shorts. If you're interested in some Michael Jordan undergarments, they're in this auction right now, which I believe is a first for Heritage, at least in the sports department. Who knows? We have a lot of departments. Maybe entertainment might have. I think they've sold some Elvis underwear in the entertainment department. Tony, were you a bidder on those?
Underbidder.
Fittingly
Just
so.
kidding. I was not. I did not.
So some great Jordan baseball items with incredible provenance in this auction tonight. And we would be remiss to talk about game-used items without talking about these two game-used baseballs. Game-used baseballs is something that tough to prove they're authentic. You know, it's all about the provenance. And these two have the best provenance of any we've seen. This first one's a 1924 Walter Johnson 1924 World Series game-used ball, also signed by the Hall of Famer. And it's attributed to the championship walk-off hit, Tony. Unbelievable. Johnson, of course, one of the greatest players in history. He led the junior circuit in strikeouts a dozen times. 110 complete game shutouts. That's the record, Tony. Is that ever going to be broken?
No.
Yeah, absolutely not. That is as safe as any record in sports. But, you know, the Senators were always at the bottom of the league. Only twice in his career did they finish within 10 games of the pennant. So they were rarely ever close. But in 1924, he was at the top of his game. His first pitching Triple Crown was in 1913, but he also did it this season in 24, and he was the MVP. 23 wins, 2.72 ERA, 158 strikeouts. So making it to the World Series was the pinnacle of his career. Johnson actually lost games 1 and 5 in the World Series. So then in game 7, it was tied, and he was brought in the bottom of the 9th to hold the tie. And he did for 4 innings. He pitched 4 scoreless innings until Earl McNeely doubled home Muddy Rule in the bottom of the 12th to win the title in game 7. How about that, Tony?
Unbelievable. And, you know, the entire baseball world, they were cheering for him to win a World Series. They really were. I mean, he was such a classy guy and such a fan favorite. And, you know, Ty Cobb had the quote, he would kind of get close to the plate because he knew Walter Johnson wasn't going to try to, he was afraid he would kill somebody. And, you know, during his time, he had probably the best fastball. And everybody just loved him. He was just and everybody wanted to see him finally win. And it kind of validated everything that he went through, all those losing seasons when they finally did win a World Series. So, yeah, it's a fantastic piece.
So this ball is the ball that catcher Muddy Rule hit for the game winner. Gave it to Walter Johnson, of course, the leader of the team. It comes from Walter Johnson's family. And it's Johnson's own hand that inked World Series 1924 beside his signature, which is a 9 out of 10. And his finding a Johnson signed ball is almost impossible. So here you've got that, incredibly significant. His family said he only kept 3 balls from his career. When you think about all the things he achieved in his career, he only kept 3 as souvenirs, and this is one of them. And this is going to find its way into somebody else's collection tonight. I
mean, it's the ultimate highlight of his career.
Yeah, no
coming
question.
From his family, no less. So, again, I mean, it's got provenance, and it's got a great autograph on it too, and that's a huge selling point of it. But comes directly from the family. Again, great provenance, great piece.
For this next one, Tony, I'm going to take you to 1931, the 6th game of the season. Babe Ruth led off the bottom of the 6th inning with a home run off Philadelphia Athletics ace Rube Waldberg. During May 24th game, Yankees were the reigning world champs that year, and whoever caught that ball in the right field found Babe after the game. And not only did Babe sign it, but he wrote number 6 on one panel because it was the 6th home run of the year, and he wrote May 24th, 1931 to date it. And this was his career home run, 571. So right at the end of the tally there for him, a great piece here. And the provenance comes from Babe Ruth's own hand. And he had a fabulous season. You could say that this was the last season where he was the most dominant batter in the game, but he batted .373, 163 RBIs, and 46 home runs. So a monster year and a Babe Ruth home run ball. How many of those do you have in your collection, Tony?
None. I don't think I'm ever going to own one, but you can never say never.
Right. Incredibly hard to find, but you got to love that Babe put the provenance right on there. And you got to wonder, did the guy who catch it tell him to do that? Was he a forward-thinking, progressive collector right there and said, I don't want to just have to tell people, yeah, Babe Ruth hit this as a home run. I want him to prove it for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy that, yeah, you wonder what the encounter was, what Ruth's reaction was. There's just so many things on this ball. And again, I mean, it's a home run ball from Ruth. You just can't beat it. You know, it's just an amazing piece.
All right, you can talk about the game used bats you wanted to talk about, Tony.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of movement actually on game used bats recently, and there's you're starting to see bats really appreciate in value, and we've got some just excellent game used bats tonight. Up first, we've got Ken Griffey. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait a second. No, we've got a 1949 Ted Williams game used bat. PSA game used 9 from his MVP season, no less. And I mean, when you think of hitters, there's probably nobody better than Ted Williams. And this one here, you know, there's a good story behind it. It was given to the visiting team Bat Boy, and just outstanding use. Of course, has fully earned its grade of game used 9. And this one had a 50,000 estimate, is at 115,000 right now.
Whoa.
Yeah. Just a great Williams bat. And again, when you're talking, you know, from the height of his career, 1949, when he was, you know, at the top of his game.
I mean, that's one of the finest William bats that exists.
You're exactly right. I mean, it shows great use too. But again, you know, we've talked about it a few times tonight. It's the story behind it. It's the provenance behind it. And this one, of course, has it. And it's one of the nicest bats that you could find from his career.
All right. What other bats do you have, Tony?
This one here, I've thought for a long time, and I'm not the only one. There's a lot of interest in Roberto Clemente. There always has been. I mean, 3,000 hits, the way that he died, you know, the 2 World Series, all those Gold Gloves, the MVPs. You are also seeing an increase in his game used bats, and we got one here. It's Adirondack labeling period 68 to 70. This one here is a game used 9. It's got the flared knob, is from what he was known for, light pine tar application, and just a high quality bat. 10,000 estimate. It's at 17,000 right now. So again, you're starting to see, I think investors and buyers and people really gravitate toward these game used bats. Think of it. That's what creates the action in baseball. The bat does. And you're starting to really see a lot of people investing in high quality game used bats. And you can't find much better than Clemente. He's one of those guys that kind of transcends generations. He's, you know, you talk about Ruth, Gary Cobb, Clemente, Mantle, Dimaggio, those guys all transcend generations.
And he has that mythic status too.
He does. Absolutely. I was talking to a friend, and he was always a Pirates fan. And I said, did you ever meet Clemente? He said, I met him. And when I did, I just froze. You know, it's like I couldn't ask him for his autograph. I just froze. And this guy met all these athletes, and that was the one that just really, you know, just froze him. And but you're seeing Clemente stuff. You're seeing autographs, game used base. I mean, autographs, single sign baseballs, even cuts have just gone up in value continuously through the years. So,
all right, this next one is incredibly unique game used item and very.
We say that a lot, don't we?
I know. Well, there's 4,200 lots. They're all iconic, right, Tony?
Absolutely.
So this is the 2001 Yankee Stadium World Series game used pitching rubber. So, of course, the 2001 World Series took place just after 9/11. And the significant thing about this one is Game 3, the first game in New York of that series, President Bush threw out the first pitch, undoubtedly the most memorable and significant first pitch in World Series history. A huge moment for America, for the New York, for baseball, for anyone watching. And this is the rubber he pushed off on. And there's a recent documentary, I'm sure a lot of you have seen it. If you haven't, you should, where President Bush talked about before the game in the bowels of Yankee Stadium, he was talking to Derek Jeter, and Jeter said, are you going to stand in front of the mound or on top? A lot of people who throw out the first pitch stand in front of it. And Bush said he was thinking about going in front. And Jeter said, if you do, you're going to get booed. You got to throw it from the mound. So he actually went up and was on this rubber, the rubber that the players would use, and pushed off of that to throw the pitch, a perfect strike. That's a moment that transcends baseball. That's American history right there. And this is the rubber from that game used in all 3 games of the World Series. After the series, the playing surface for Yankee Stadium underwent a major renovation, and the pitching rubber was removed, and it was given to our consigner by the grounds crew. He was a close friend of the Yankees organization, and you can see there's photos of him with the grounds crew as they pulled it out. And Dan Cunningham, the head of the Yankees grounds crew, signed it. He put 2001 postseason New York Yankees, signed his name and head groundskeeper and the date when they pulled it out. It's got the MLB authentication sticker. And then the consigner had Roger Clemens, Andy Pettitte, and Mariano Rivera sign it. So a huge, important piece, one of the most unique that we've offered. And when you talk about that it was World Series related and that first pitch with the 9/11 significance, this is a really cool Yankees item.
It is. And when you're talking, 9/11, and there's just so many, it just kind of pulled at everybody's heartstrings, that World Series, and seeing George Bush walk out to the mound. And the funny thing about this is I actually was at an appraisal event, and somebody owns the small rubber, the small pitching rubber that he was supposed to go to. So I thought he always went from the front one. I didn't know he actually went back. And Chris Ivy made me aware of that, because he watched the video. He said, no, he went back and pitched from the back.
Always important to talk about how smart your boss is when you're like this, Tony. So nice maneuver there.
Yeah, you like that?
Yeah,
I thought you would, but no, it's
very cool
historic.
item.
But this one here, it's not just sports. It is literally Americana as well. So just an outstanding item, and just so historic. It really, truly is.
Indeed. All right, Tony, back to you. What do you got?
Oh my God, I'm up again.
That's right. More bats, I'm sure.
More bats. So actually, we've got a really, really nice Ken Griffey Jr. game used bat from his rookie season, 1989. Griffey used Rawlings Adirondack early on. This is the plain block letter, and shows great wear. It's a game used 8.5. But Griffey was such a big deal from his earliest of days that, as his career went on, he was so popular that there's more of his material from later in his career. We talk about bookend pieces. This one here from the start of his historic career, you don't see a lot of his game used rookie bats. And this one here, you can see there's the blue mark on the K and Adirondack. Most of us, when you see his bats, it's the facsimile signature model. This is before he had a signature model. So it's in black lettering. Just a really, really cool early Griffey Jr. bat.
Very nice. Everybody loves Griffey. And like you said earlier, having an item that was in their hands on the field that caused the action to happen, that's a cool piece.
And speaking of that, another one, 2001 Albert Pujols game used rookie bat, game used 10, one of only 5 on the PSA DNA population report. We've talked about how bats have gone up in value. One of the reasons is now PSA has instituted a population report. They've done it in cards. They are doing it in game used bats. It's taken a little while, but I think that's going to help this market, help this industry quite a bit when you have a population report, because everybody wants to have the best of the best. And, Pujols, he dominated the sport for so long, made the Cardinals relevant again, and continued to dominate with the Angels. And then even this year with the Dodgers, he was still pretty good yet. So incredible number on this, 19,500. Again, as he got popular, you saw more of his bats come out there. But again, early rookie bat, 2001, just an outstanding example of a Pujols early game use bat.
You want to talk about early? How about this next one, Tony? We've talked about a lot how the photo market has really exploded. This is one of the finest photos out there. I actually have it right here next to me because I wanted to take a good close look while we talk about it. This is a 1915 Boston Red Sox pitching staff photo, type 1, of course. And if you're talking 1915 Red Sox, there he is, Babe Ruth himself. This is the pitching staff that posted the third highest winning percentage in Sox franchise history. Left to right, you've got Rube Foster, Carl Mays, Ernie Shore, Babe Ruth, and Dutch Leonard. So a beautiful photo. We sold a different image from the same shoot a couple years ago, and it identified the date as October 7th, 1915, the final game of the regular season. The Red Sox would lose a meaningless game to the Yankees at the Polo Grounds, but this is the day before the World Series started. And of course, they would win the World Series within just a few days. And then on the back, you've got the Bain News Service stamp. So that lets you know that it was done by legendary lensman George Grantham Bain, the most esteemed photojournalist in New York City in the first quarter of the 20th century. So a beautiful image with, of course, great significance. And when we get to talk about Babe Ruth pitching, I get to say this Tris Speaker quote, which is one of my favorites. He told reporters in 1921, quote, "Ruth made a grave mistake when he gave up pitching. Working once a week, he might have lasted a long time and become a great star." Great quote from Tris Speaker, who would also be on the dais at the 1939 Hall of Fame inaugural induction with Babe Ruth. So a great quote there, and I'm going to bring that out every time I can, Tony. But tremendous photo here, one of the finest in the hobby, and with photo prices really skyrocketing the last few years, I expect to see a big number for this one.
Yeah, I do too. And the thing is, on photos, Ruth, from 20 on up, yeah, he was with the Yankees. He was a big deal, but rookie Ruth photos, early Ruth photos, almost non-existent. And those, just like the Honus Wagner and some of those other really important baseball cards, they just continue to go up and up and up. And you're seeing the photo prices just kind of go through the roof because people are understanding now these have really dried up. They've really, really dried up. There's not as much out there as people thought. For a while, there were these photo archives being released. That's not happening. It hasn't happened in quite a while. And people are really starting to learn of the significance, especially the early stuff like that.
And we've got a ton of great photos in this auction.
We have too many good photos.
I know. It's overwhelming. There's, a great Honus Wagner one. There's a 1923 Yankees team photo with Gehrig in it. And there's some incredible Jordan photos and Dr. J and Lou Alcindor type 1 photos. So if you're into that, take a look at ha.com. Some really incredible offerings that are closing tonight. This next one is a true rarity. I'd never seen this autograph before. Had you, Tony? 1942, J.L. Wilkinson.
I'm going to tell you a story about one of my recent visits that's going to talk about him a little bit.
All right. Well, let me introduce the item. Then we'll get to Tony's story time.
All right.
This is one of the rarest autographs in the hobby. He's a Negro League legend, a Hall of Famer. And he might be the most underrated member of the Hall of Fame. He was the principal owner of the Kansas City Monarchs from 1920 to 1948. And he was an essential figure in the sport's march towards racial equality. Years before Branch Rickey and Jackie Robinson, Wilkinson was fielding teams with both African Americans and women. challenging the status quo of not just the sport, but of the nation's culture itself. He was way ahead of his time. And so this is a signed warranty deed here. And after the Negro Leagues folded, he sadly had a lot of troubles. He died penniless. So there are not many autograph examples. This is the first one I'd ever seen. And the owner of the Monarchs, who were just a monolith of the Negro Leagues, they won 17 pennants. And it was partly because of him, of course, the players, but he had such a keen eye for talent. He signed Hilton Smith, Cool Papa Bell, Satchel Paige, Bullet Rogan, Bill Foster, Willie Wells, Jackie Robinson, of course, Ernie Banks, and Turkey Stearns. So just
a pretty good career, isn't it?
Not bad, not bad. So he was scouting and signing players, just a visionary. And he signed the front page of that deed. I'd never seen that autograph before, and there are very few collections that have one, but someone's going to add it tonight.
Yeah, I was actually at the Negro League Museum a couple weeks ago. I was in Kansas City to meet with some clients, and I had to go. And the Jazz Museum is right next to the Negro League Museum.
Oh, I know you stopped in there, Tony.
I went to the Jazz, but the Negro League just had my attention, of course. I walked through the first time. It says no photos allowed. I respected that. I'm like, okay, I get it. I walked through again. People are taking photos. They literally have the agreement that started the Negro League signed. Top of the one, Rube Foster, and then Wilkinson was also on there. I had to take a photo of it. It's basically the start of the Negro Leagues, the contract that kind of drew it all up. He was on it, and Rube Foster. I did sneak a photo, which I still have.
Wow. Yeah. Nicely done. Tony, I'm going to be in Kansas City this week, and I'm stopping at the museum as well. So
there's some good barbecue right in that area.
Yeah, I won't take a photo of it since you already got one, but I'll get to see it. So doing that tomorrow, and then Cowboys Chiefs on Sunday, Tony. It's going to be a big weekend.
It is it's a great stadium, great fan atmosphere. Getting out of that stadium is pretty tough, though.
Okay, good to know.
There you go.
So next, another huge rarity here. First one we've ever seen, very likely the only one in existence. This is a 1913 Christy Mathewson pennant from the World Baseball Tour when the White Sox were barnstorming with the Giants, and giving fans a chance to see the best of the dead ball era. And just an amazing image. You've got Mathewson in his windup there. The text below reads White Sox and Giants, Christy Mathewson, World Tour. And this is huge, 21 by 43. The only one we've ever seen, possibly the only one known. And it is in remarkable condition. A few tack holes at the band at the top there. But other than that, pristine. And beautiful triangle display for it as well there, Tony. I don't know where people find that, but nicely done.
Yeah, I mean, most of those, most of them didn't survive, let's be honest. But look at the graphics, and it's got Mathewson. It's dated to that world tour. Just an amazing pennant. And there's not a lot of early ones that have survived because they weren't made to really, survive decades and decades. And most of them were, tack holes and then thrown away, or there's rips or tears. This one here is just amazing. Just a gorgeous pennant.
I was looking at it today, and that red is just blazing, untouched by time. So this is one that you put it on your wall in wherever you have your collection, and that's going to draw everyone's eye. And I guarantee you, every person's going to say, "I've never seen that before."
Mm-hmm. I never knew that existed. I have never seen one. So,
all right, Tony, you got a photo you're going to talk about?
I do.
Broke it open.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk Ruth and Gehrig and how they popularized baseball, of course, Ruth coming up and coming to the Yankees in 20 helped save the game after the Black Sox scandal, and then Gehrig and Murderers Row. These two guys helped make, they also took it to the small towns, and they also helped popularize it out to the West Coast. Following the 27 and 28 seasons, they went and barnstormed and, went out and played these smaller areas that didn't have major league teams. Then they also took their show on the road to the West Coast. And just a really cool snapshot of Ruth and Gehrig. in their Bustin' Babe. I think it's the Bustin' Babe photo here. Signed by both, high quality, high grade. The Ruth graded a 7, it looks like, and the Garrett graded a 9. So just a cool snapshot. Had an estimate of, it's got an estimate of 40. Right now it's at 29,000. There's just not a lot of these because you had to get it. You took the photo, and then you had to get it developed, and then you had to get their autograph. So there's a little bit of legwork involved in this, and just a great photo of these two icons.
Tony, when's the last time you got a photo developed?
I used to work when I was in college. Actually, I worked at a Walmart photo lab. So you're talking back to the late 90s. It's been a while.
Yeah, so it doesn't happen much today, and it was even harder back then.
I was actually getting a passport photo, and somebody did bring into the photo lab at, I think it was a Walgreens. They did have some film developed.
Wow. Okay.
Which I could not believe. I guess it's coming back in.
I don't think so.
I was surprised myself.
All right, another photo. This is one of my favorites too.
Yeah, this one actually has been getting a lot of bids just recently. There's not a lot of Negro League images out there, and this one here is just a great clear shot of circa 1945 of the Homestead Grays, and you've got Josh Gibson smack dab right in the middle there. There's just not a lot of larger photos from the Negro Leagues, and Gibson, of course, is the one everybody wants, but there's just not much material of his out there. Every so often you'll find a photo. Here's one. It's been getting, like I said, it's been getting a lot of bids on it. When I first clicked on it, it was $6,700. Now it's $7,250 right now. And I think collectors are starting to really understand how hard these are to find, especially of the Homestead Grays and Josh Gibson. So just a great, cool photo. Their whole lineup. Beautiful
image there as well. Mm-hmm. So how much time we got till extended bidding, Tony? You're the clock man.
That's a great question. We have an hour and 13 minutes is unofficial. And there's a lot of bids coming in on stuff right now.
What do you got? Let's hear it. Check the bid board.
There's one that just, I've talked to some fellow collectors and dealers, and we've got a Tiger Woods right now from his professional debut. Now, we had the one before that did an outstanding number. This one here, again, it's a PSA Near Mint 8, is at $72,500. Right,
oh my goodness!
Which is shocking. That just tells you what the ticket market is.
This summer we sold another 8 for $37,000, I believe. Yeah. And that was an astronomical number.
That is absolutely.
This is doubling that up.
Yeah, and you're seeing it not just in baseball anymore. You're seeing it in golf. You're seeing it in hockey. You're seeing it in other sports. It's not just baseball anymore. There's all these other sports, and a lot of those important tickets are really starting to go up in value. So, and
we've got some great tickets, especially for debuts. We have an unbelievable collection of Tom Brady tickets. First appearance, first start, first touchdown. We have Lionel Messi's pro debut, Dan Marino's pro debut, Joe Namath's pro debut. So a ton of tickets, LeBron's pro debut as well. So if you're into tickets, and then we've got significant games, Brady's 200th win. Just if you're into tickets, this is a great auction for you. So you should check it out. So we're going to take a short break. And after this break, we're going to talk about Mr. Tiger, Alkaline. We're very pleased to have his collection and honored to be able to present it and work with his family to bring it to the collecting community. So let's take a break and we'll look at a video about Mr. Tiger.
2-2. There's a long drive to left. That one is gone. A home run for Kaline.
Alkaline led by the way he played, with a skill level that is unattainable to most others, wrote George Cantor in his book The Tigers of '68. His strong arm and big stick were mainstays in Motown for the entirety of his 22-year career, all played with the Tigers. Pitcher Johnny Padres put it simply that Kaline just never made mistakes. Hence his 10 Gold Glove awards, 18 trips to Major League Baseball's All-Star Game, the American League batting title in 1955, He was the first recipient of the Roberto Clemente Award in 1973, plus that magical World Series title in '68, and first ballot induction into baseball's Hall of Fame in 1980. All those awards were about one thing, the work ethic, says Mark Kaline, one of Al's two sons. It was about commitment to hard work. I can remember Dad saying, "Whatever you do, be the best at it." The awards were emblematic of the hard work and dedication he had to being one of the best. He never professed to being the best. He was very flattered by a lot of the awards, but he would tell you many times he was a far better defensive player than offensive one, even though he had 3,007 hits and 399 home runs.
There she goes! No doubt about it!
Heritage Auctions celebrates that extraordinary craft behind the Hall of Fame career by offering more than 400 items from the Alkaline collection, ranging from his 1968 Detroit Tigers World Series championship trophy, to his Gold Glove Awards, to his home run balls and game-used jerseys and bats. Also included are baseballs signed by the Tigers teams on which Kaline played, as well as the ones signed by the fellow All-Stars with whom he shared the field throughout his Hall of Fame career. It's clear Kaline treasured these items signed by the game's luminaries, many of whom noted Mr. Tiger's greatness upon them. By the end of Al Kaline's life, there were too many awards and photos and keepsakes to count. Mark says it was his father's idea to auction much of his collection so it wouldn't become a burden to his wife and their two sons. Mark says his idea was to share it with the fans, with some of the proceeds going to Al's favorite charities, of which there were many, among them the March of Dimes, for which he once served as honorary chair. He always believed that he was fortunate and had to give back as a service to the people who were big baseball fans, Mark said, for whom the sport was their link to the outside world.
It's a happy bunch of Tigers. They have beaten the Cardinals.
Heritage is proud to have the opportunity to present these treasures from Al Kaline to the collecting world and provide the link from one of the greatest to play the game directly to your collection. Find the perfect item for you at ha.com.
Wow, really incredible. It's always exciting when we get to offer a collection like this from one of the greatest players of all time. And, you know, we see amazing items every day, but usually it's this Mantle jersey, this Ruth bat. But when you get a collection and it's from the family, you really get to dive into their life and their career. And the Alkaline collection does just that. It spans his entire life. There's baby photos in there, Tony, and then golf clubs from his retired life and everything in between. Tony, you worked with the family and picked up the collection. What do you have to say about it?
Yeah, I mean, his family, you mentioned Mark a couple times in the quotes. He was so instrumental and so helpful. I've worked on a lot of player collection. I don't think there was one that extensive as Al Kaline's, and the care that he took of his treasures, the all-star signed baseballs, the team signed baseballs. Usually a guy will get one. Kaline had a case. I think it was a 61, the all-star game, you know, and you're talking legit Mantle, Maris, you know, on these all-star baseballs, but they were, in my opinion, they were almost Snow White. They were in such great condition. And we had a lot from the '68 team, but all of his years. I mean, he kept a lot of keepsakes, and he took great care of it. You know, a lot of times you'll see it into being rougher shape. These baseballs were taken from 1961, put in his basement, never to be opened up or played with or anything like that. They did a tremendous job. The family did a wonderful job helping us, working with us. And and we are seeing great results on his material, which we'll be talking about.
So let's dive in. Speaking of from the beginning of his life, this first one I love. It really jumped out at me when we were putting the catalog together. It's a 1952 MVP trophy from Al Kaline. He was 17 years old when he won this, Tony. Come on, forget about it. A teenage trophy from before his professional career. And he was the 1952 MVP for the Baltimore Region Maryland State Tournament. And you got it right there, awarded to Albert Kaline with the formal name there. But I love items like that, this is one of a kind. It was obviously important to him. He kept it his entire life. And as Mark, his son, said, he wanted to share these items with the fans. And this is a truly unique one right here.
Yeah, I mean, and think about it too. Alkaline wasn't just, he wasn't just a player. When he was done, he was an announcer for decades, and he was, he'd go down the spring training. He helped the team. We'll be talking about some of those pieces that, he was a Tiger his entire life, his whole baseball career until the day he died. I mean, he was such a great ambassador to the game. He really, truly was. And yeah, I mean, this is one of his first awards that he ever won playing baseball. So just a really, really cool item.
What items have jumped out to you in the Kaline?
There's a lot of items that have jumped out to me from his collection. We've got one here. Let's see. I'm sorry. So we've got a Babe Ruth, Ty Cobb, Carl Hubble sign ball from Kaline's personal collection. And there's a great photo of him holding this baseball. They did a nice tribute booklet from Kaline. And this ball, was held in high regard. Of course, he had it his whole life. Signed by Cobb, signed by Ruth on the sweet spot, and Hubble. It's from the All-American game. Just a really, really quality signatures here. Something that was very important to him. And, this is, again, it's doing extremely well. 18,500 right now, and it's dated to 1945. So just a really cool piece from his collection. And the next one, we were breaking down the collection, and one of my coworkers who did a fantastic job, Eric, did an absolutely fantastic job breaking this down. And we were sitting there on a Saturday afternoon. I'll never forget it. And we were going through all these baseballs. And, they're all, some of them have inscriptions, but the one, we both stopped what we're doing when we saw this one. It was signed from Bob Gibson to Alkaline. And the inscription just is so cool and so unique. To Al, great series, wrong team won, Bob Gibson. And how can you beat that? It's just such a cool inscription. And to a Tiger fan, even to a Cardinal fan, it's just so, so cool. 2,200 right now. That one's hard. It's really hard to put a price on, but it's,
but we're going to.
Yeah, exactly. But when we saw that, we both just stopped what we're doing and we're like, oh my God, look at this. The best inscription from his collection by far.
And Mark Kaline said that his dad always talked about that Gibson was the toughest pitcher he ever faced. And they faced off in that 68 World Series that the Tigers won. And Kaline had a great series. He did well against Gibson. But obviously Gibson was a little bitter about the result and put it on that ball. And the next item, very similarly, is a Sandy Koufax single sign ball to Alkaline. Koufax was a man of few words, but what he said, he meant, and he put to Al with great respect, best wishes, Sandy Koufax. So we talked about how beloved he is when we were putting the catalog together. There were so many quotes from players on his team, of course, but people he played against who respected him so much. And Koufax, one of the greatest players and pitchers in baseball history, with great respect for him, and put it right here on the ball. I love that one. And speaking of signed balls, this one blew my mind. This is a 1968 Detroit Tigers team signed baseball group of 12, a dozen world champion team signed baseballs, Mr. Tiger's private stash, and it comes in the original box. And this looks like he got the team to sign them and then put them away, and they haven't been touched since. Kaline is on the sweet spot of all of them, and they are just in incredible condition. They look like they were signed yesterday.
Yeah. Typically when you see those baseballs, heavy toning, exposure, the autographs aren't very strong, but this is departure from that. Very, very, they were very well taken care of. And I loved how some of the boxes had number 6 on them in athletic tape. And that's just what they did back then. So, yeah, some just great, great team signed baseballs from Mr. Tiger's collection.
Yeah, of course. All right. What do you got? More baseballs there, Tony?
Yeah, I had to pick one of the 1961 All-Star team signed baseballs. And as we all know, Mickey Mantle, a legitimate Mickey Mantle autograph on a baseball is hard to find. It's not that he didn't sign. It's just so many times somebody else signed for him. On these All-Star balls, you have a legitimate Mantle on the sweet. He was reserved for the sweet spot, no less. But then you also have Nellie Fox, who's kind of a tougher autograph. Roger Maris from 61. Elston Howard. You got some really, really good names. Killebrew, Koufax. So this one here, I mean, it's a high quality ball in very good condition at $13.50 right now. So just, but he kept so much of it. That's the cool thing, you know. He kept so much of this stuff.
And next, another celebrity signing to Mr. Tiger here.
Okay, I have to say this. I'm downstairs in the basement looking at everything, and that's on the wall. I grabbed that thing so fast, and I'm like, oh, my God. Because, you know, Tiger, it's not that Tiger doesn't sign autographs, but Tiger, you don't usually get any kind of inscription, you know, same as Jordan. You know, you can find an autograph, but this one here, to Al, thanks for such an enjoyable round of golf, your friend Tiger Woods. And when I saw that I grabbed it off the wall right away.
I mean, from Tiger to Mr. Tiger right there.
Exactly.
And K-Line was a huge golfer. We have a lot of golf material from him. Game used golf bags and clubs and some awards and all manner of variety. So if you're a golfer and you're a Tigers fan, there's a bonanza in this auction of material. And this is the crowning jewel of that golf and Tiger material. Love that one. Tiger to Mr. Tiger.
Exactly. Yeah, just linking those guys together. Just a really, really cool piece. And again, that inscription, you know, same as on the Bob Gibson ball. The inscription is just so cool on that. You don't see that kind of stuff ever. Yeah.
And of course, a lot of awards and rings in this collection as well. And he has one of my favorites, one of the most unique awards there is. In fact, it's sitting right here in front of me, Tony. How about that? This is the Babe Ruth Crown Award that was given to Alkaline. There it is right there. Ooh. Oh, we got a little double.
We got 2 Mike Provenzales.
2 mics, is that enough? Probably not enough.
The world wants more of that.
But, you know, this is an award. Not many players got it, but the recipients read like a who's who of baseball legends. Mantle, Aaron, Williams, Mays, Banks, and here's Alkalines. We've been lucky to sell a few of these. We sold McCovey's, we sold Brooks Robinson's, and K-Lines. This is just an incredibly unique award, and some collector is going to get to add this to their collection. And
it's so displayable too. I mean, you put that on your mantle, you put it in a display case, it just jumps out. It just brings your eyes to it. It's such a cool piece. It's such a cool piece from his collection.
And then, of course, we have the 68 World Series trophy. A huge moment for K-Line and all Tigers fans, the 68 World Series. And, you know, we see a lot of championship rings, but we do not see a lot of the player trophies like this. And what an example to offer. Just a huge item from the K-Line collection. And I love those trophies. Tony, what do you think about them?
Yeah, I mean, and you might see them from time to time, but to have one from Alkaline, from such a big name player, very, very rare, very rare. And again, you know, the full size ones, you can't really put them on display. They're just too big. This here, the miniature ones, just a great size. And again, it's from Alkaline, and it's not like he had extras made or anything like that. That's the original one.
Very cool. What do you got, Tony? More K-Line?
No, I think we're switching gears here.
Oh,
I've got.
you got to talk about
Oh
that.
no, I have one more. I'm sorry.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, this one, 19. This is 1974 game worn jersey. His final game worn jersey. He didn't keep a lot of this material back then. Players didn't really understand probably the value or probably know the value. It didn't really have the value actually of what it does now. But from his, from the end of his career, 1974 set 1, size 44, shows excellent use. And this was one of the items that was actually at the Baseball Hall of Fame. So this meant so much to him that he sent it to the Hall of Fame, where it was on display for years. And then it was the family got it back, and now it's going directly to auction. So just an amazing gamer, unquestioned provenance coming from the family, and just one of the very, very strong jersey right now at 13,000. I think this thing will go up considerably.
And you know what we need to talk about in the K-Line collection, Tony? The glove. Take a look at what that
I saw that. I actually
at.
at the show today, that was one of the talking points. I talked to a couple of the dealers and some of the collectors, and that was one of the things that was brought up. I'll be honest, when I went to meet with the family, I figured he was a good fielder. I didn't know he was that good of a fielder to win that many Gold Gloves. And this one here, players used the glove for years on end. They would get them repaired, they'd get them fixed, and what an amazing number on his glove right now. Just incredible. Great use, and again, great provenance, and it's a fielder's glove too. So
yeah, I mean, so he's in the 3,000 hit club, and he has 10 Gold Gloves, which we are offering them in this auction as well. But not many guys on that list with double-digit Gold Gloves and in the 3,000 hit club.
Yeah. I mean, just think how hard it is, 3,000 hits, but to also be such a good fielder too. It's just for a select few. And again, I mean, he did not keep a lot of his game used gloves, and I don't think he used very many gloves in his career. When a player is comfortable with a glove, they keep it. They don't switch out. And this glove would have been used for years on end. So just great use and an amazing price.
So, and the great thing about this collection, I mean, obviously there's a lot of things that are going for five figures and approaching six figures, but there's something for everybody, whatever level you collect at. Tommy, can you bring up the Alkaline clogs, please? This is one of the more unique items. When you dive into a player's collection, you find all these unique things, and the K-Line collection is definitely that. He kept a lot of items that were special to him, and he wanted them to go to collectors. And when I was putting together the catalog, I saw these clogs, and these have to be the only Hall of Famer clogs in existence. So a great conversation piece there for the really discriminating Tigers fan from the Mr. Tiger collection. But
you win the glove, you have to get the clogs, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, clogs. C-L-O-G.
I had no idea that's what they were called, by the way.
We'll circle back to those, but the K-Line collection isn't the only collection we have in the auction. We have the Lou Brock collection as well, the Hall of Famer, and we'll start right away with this is Lou Brock's Hall of Fame induction ring. What a huge piece. He was in the 1985 class. And the cool thing about this is it shows where he obviously wore it very proudly. And who wouldn't? Very exclusive club, of course. And he retired with over 3,000 hits. He led the NL in stolen bases 8 times. He had the stolen base record when he retired. A legend in baseball. And we have some incredible items from his family. And I love the Hall of Fame ring. I mean, what a huge piece to own.
Yeah, the Hall of Fame rings, it's kind of the pinnacle from their career because, you win World Series, but the Hall of Fame is the ultimate team, and there are not a lot of those that ever get released. And you're talking Lou Brock. I mean, you talk about Musial, you talk about Brock, the all-time greats from these teams. And Yeah, that is such a cool piece, and there's not a lot of them out there. There's not a lot of the Hall of Fame rings. They rarely ever surface. So,
And there you go. What caught your eye in the Lou Brock collection, Tony?
Yeah, we got the 2004 National League Championship ring presented to Lou Brock. The Cardinals, steeped in history, they take care of their Hall of Famers. They take care of their own, and of course, whenever they have won World Series recently, and then won pennants, they do gift their Hall of Famers those rings, which are the same ones that the players get. This is from 2004 when the Cardinals advanced to the World Series. Right now, it's at $15,500. Just a beautiful design. The bird on bat logo, which they're famous for, with diamonds all around the front. National League champions, and to Lou Brock, a Hall of Famer, and one of their all-time greats. So, really cool item from his collection.
We've been lucky to handle a lot of Cardinals rings, and they have some of the best design rings. And that's a great example of it right there. So some really great items, some rings, awards in the Lou Brock collection, some autographs, some personally owned items. So for Cardinals fans and just baseball fans in general, you should dive in at ha.com. And
49 minutes, everybody.
Yeah, 49. So what's going on the big board, Tony? We're going to take a quick break. But first, what's rising up there?
All right, give me oh boy. Oh man.
Oh, look how excited he's getting.
Hold on here. Jeez. Okay. There's a lot of action actually right now. Let's see here. My high-speed internet. Okay. Yeah, the Josh Gibson photo, 8,200. That's gotten a couple hits. 1933 Walter Johnson single-sign baseball, 3,500. Kobe Bryant game-worn shoes, 21,000 right now. Ronald Reagan single-sign baseball from K-Line's collection, 3,300. 49,000 for the 1915 Red Sox pitching staff photo. So you're starting to see things moving, and you're going to see that for the next, hour and a half, 2 hours, hopefully. Yeah, indeed. So, Tony, did you know that Heritage Auctions has over 45 different departments? I thought we had 40. We have 45 now? Yeah, we do. We added video games. We're adding departments always. VHS tapes coming up in 2022. There you go, Tony. My wife maybe throw them all away. Yeah, none in your collection would be worth anything. But they're all opened up. They're all opened up. I saw this gold nugget that we are selling in the natural history department. And this is something we have to share with the collecting community on the sports side. So please enjoy.
The keystone piece in this auction is this bad beauty right here, which is the Alaska Centennial Nugget. It's called the Alaska Centennial Nugget because it was found 100 years after the Klondike Gold Strike. Okay. So it's of great historical importance. The singular most important thing, and we'll get into the weight and the gold and all that, it is simply put the largest gold nugget ever found in the state of Alaska, period.
So ever?
Yeah, ever. Since over 100 of years and whatever. Yes, I mean, if you think about how much gold's been mined in Alaska, how significant Alaska gold is to the world, it's the largest. It's crazy. It's 294.1 ounces, and it's almost 90% gold.
So there's almost 30 pounds.
It's about 21.5. There's about 257 ounces of pure gold in that rock.
So this was just found in a stream? Where was this?
This was found by a guy named Barry Clay near the Swift River outside of a place called Ruby, Alaska back in 1998. He found it. It was purchased by a private individual who owned it for, roughly about 30 years. And then when he passed away, his son, who is known to us here at Heritage, fortunately, reached out and we worked a deal to try to sell this for him in our upcoming auction. But it is such a piece of historical significance. I mean, it's big, it's beautiful, it's gold, it checks every possible box. But the sheer fact that it is the seminal largest gold nugget ever found in the state of Alaska, what else can you say?
Well,
you run out of superlatives. There's nothing else.
That's as big as you can say.
Yeah, that's really as big as
20 pounds of gold.
Yes, about 99% of all gold that's ever been found has been refined.
Right.
It's been made into coins or jewelry or whatever. It's inherently rare for gold to exist in nugget form. Truth be told, it's personal bias. I think that should be in the Smithsonian Institution because it's the seminal gold nugget ever found in Alaska. I mean, its significance to American gold mining history is unlimited.
How about that, Tony? Have you ever seen a gold nugget that big? Don't answer. You haven't.
Have not. I'm sorry. I'm eating Gene and Jude's hot dogs right now. So
Now you're just bragging. So we're going to switch over and talk about some basketball now. We have some incredible basketball items. And first, as far as basketball, I need to mention this massive painting behind me right here, which is going to close tonight. And it's a painting of the 2009 playoff national treasure, Steph Curry Logo Man 1 of 1, and by Daniel Metzman. And it is signed by Steph Curry. We've got photos of him signing it. And it's been donated to the Tower Cancer Research Foundation. And every dollar bid tonight, the hammer price and the buyer's premium is going to the Tower Cancer Research Center, an incredible organization, an incredible cause. And one lucky bidder will win this tonight. The ultimate conversation piece right here. It's huge. And it's signed by Steph in person. You are probably never going to be able to afford that card, but you can get this painting of it right here. And every single dollar that is bid and the BP is going to the Tower Cancer Research Foundation. So a great cause and a great charity effort. So please, if you're so inclined, bid on that, add it to your collection, and let's help knock out cancer. Tony, how are the hot dogs?
Very good, but I bought them about 5 hours ago. I literally took a 7 o'clock flight, got here at 9:30, set up, and then once my coworker came in, then I snuck out and got some food, and that was quite a while ago. So
Tony, you always manage to squeeze food into the show. It is truly amazing.
Of course, you have to.
So let's talk about some basketball items. This first one, I'd never seen one of these before. I say that a lot on the show, but this is a Larry Bird, Magic Johnson signed 1979 NCAA Finals ticket stub with PSA 10 autographs from both. Great quote from Magic. There's only one national championship. I got it. He can't get it back. So, arguably, and who would even argue, it's the most significant game in college basketball history. One of the most significant in basketball history, period. One of the most watched basketball games when the Spartans took on Indiana State. The Spartans would win. Magic had 27 points. He got the most outstanding player, and they both signed it. Magic, I'm sure, hopefully he signed it first, so Larry had to see it, that he put NCAA MOP on there. But I'd never seen one of these signed tickets by both of them, and PSA 10 signatures from both on there as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, and when you look at the grand scheme of things in basketball history, these two guys, of course, helped the college game, but what they did for the pro game, they pretty much saved the game.
Yep.
You talk about Ruth in 1920 saving baseball. These two guys helped elevate basketball to the next level and are two of the most important figures in the history of the game. And with the explosion of tickets now, something like this, there's not a lot of them to begin with. And, to get them both to sign it, it's much more difficult. There's a lot of things involved. And I think this thing here is a very, very good investment.
Yeah, indeed. You got a ticket you want to talk about, Tony?
I do. I was not at this game. It took place in Milwaukee. The reason I was not at this game because it was such a hot ticket. It's when the Chicago Bulls won their 70th game of the season, then a record. This one here is a VG3 stub. The game, of course, was Jordan, Pippen, Rodman, and just a historic game. And it's the nice version of it. It's not a ticket master. This is the actual season ticket. So just a great, cool piece. And you're seeing Jordan stuff go up in value quite a bit. It's a great investment.
So that's the big thing about tickets is last games, milestones, memorable games, and then debuts, as we talked about earlier. What debut ticket do you like, Tony?
Oh, this one here really, really surprised me. LeBron James, biggest thing since the day he, was on the cover of Sports Illustrated in high school. Very high expectations. This one here, his debut ticket, it's a full ticket, graded as 27,000 right now. That just speaks to what the ticket market is doing. The ticket market has exploded. LeBron, first game out in Sacramento, so there's not a lot of these out there, but this price kind of.
What are you saying about the Kings, Tony? What are you saying about the 2003 Kings?
They had some outstanding teams that just very well balanced teams, but they were never quite able to win a title. They never really had that one go-to guy. They had a lot of great players, but not the superstar. Unfortunate, because they had some really good teams in the early 2000s.
Definitely. All right, we've got some great basketball gamers too. There are so many, too many to mention here. We're going to highlight a few. This first one, not a gamer, but it is photo match. It's 1984 Hakeem Olajuwon draft day jersey. So this is photo matched to draft day when he held up the jersey after the Rockets drafted him number 1 in the 1984 draft. Yeah, let's get that picture up, because love the look that the Dream was sporting there, the tux. And he had the red bow tie, of course, because Houston Cougars were red, and then he got drafted by Houston ahead of Sam Bowie and Michael Jordan, and, of course, went on to become an incredible player, Hall of Famer, 2-time champion, MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, endless accolades. And this is the first Rockets jersey he put his hands on, photo match to that draft day that no Rockets fan can forget, I'm sure.
It's a historical piece of that organization. And Hakeem was a once-in-a-generation player, one of the best centers of all time. He was so versatile, played great defense too. Such a cool piece of their history. It really is.
And speaking of history, we have been very blessed, Tony, to sell quite a few Harlem Globetrotters jerseys. And we took this one in at the National. And I remember when it came in, everyone at the booth just flipped for it. How could you not? This is a 1960s Curly Neal game-worn Trotters jersey. Look at that, Tony. Isn't it beautiful?
It's a gorgeous jersey. And I actually talked to the guy who had that jersey today. And I told him, typically what you'll see 70s. For Harlem Globetrotters, mid 70s to the 80s, you rarely, if ever, find anything from the 60s. And this one, it's so, you've got the stars, you've got the original Harlem Globetrotters on the front. The back is gorgeous, great use. And I just love how they have the stars and they have the world, they have the globe on the back of it. What's that?
The globe that they're trotting upon.
Exactly. It's just such a gorgeous jersey that looks great on a mannequin. And again, you don't find a lot of 60s jerseys from the Globetrotters. So they wore these for a long period of time. They didn't just wear one a game. They wore them probably for a year or two. They obviously could have done.
And iconic right there. I mean, anything Globetrotters is going to be a stunner in any collection. This next one, very near and dear to many people working here in our beautiful world headquarters in Dallas. This is a Dirk Nowitzki game-worn jersey. Tony, yesterday we found out the Mavericks are going to retire Dirk's jersey this season. Shocking, I know. And also yesterday we found out Resolution Photo Matching had photo matched this jersey from the 06-07 season, his MVP season, and they photo matched it to 14 games, Tony.
That's
14
awesome.
Game use from an MVP season. Over that 14-game stretch, the big German averaged 24.6 points, 9.5 rebounds, shot over 50% from the floor, and 42% from the arc. So Dirk was killing it that season. He could do no wrong. He was a force to be reckoned with. This jersey shows great use and photo match to 14 games. How about that?
Yeah, I mean, is there a better jersey from his MVP season than that?
No, it's the best one.
I would be shocked if there was. Exactly. Yeah. Photo match, great use, 14 games, MVP. I mean, he is that organization's number one guy, and that's a
Unquestionably.
great jersey. That's a gorgeous jersey.
All right, Tony, what do you like in the basketball side? I know the gamer that has your eye.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk basketball gods, Pete Maravich is near the top. And in college, he set scoring to a whole different level. He was a one-man show. His NBA career was good, but his college career was unbelievable. And this one here, game worn, LSU, Mears A10. It really is just one of the nicest Maravich pieces you could ever want to own. And when you think of Maravich, you don't really think of his NBA career. You think of him more as college, because what he did on the college level will never be equaled again. And this one right here is just an amazing jersey. Right now at $52,500. And what I really like about this, you got the Sandit tag, but then you've got the local New Orleans Baton Rouge distributor, which is really, really cool, which is something that they, of course, only done on the Gamers. Great jersey from the Pistol, and he's got a cult following. He really does.
If you're talking about the greatest college basketball players of all time, it's a two-person conversation. Kareem and Pistol Pete. That's it.
Yeah, you're right.
And man, that is a beautiful jersey. The purple, the LSU, the yellow LSU, and he was just so dominant in college. He couldn't be stopped. He was the greatest scorer of all time in college.
And I mean, he set records that'll never be approached.
And before the three-point line as well.
That's a very good point. You're right on that.
So there are just a handful, if that many, of these out there. So this is a brag-worthy item, certainly. And speaking of college legends, what do you got next, Tony?
Yeah, we've got some personal plays in John Wooden's hand. John Wooden, we sold the jersey for $212,000, I think, or around there.
$260,000, Tony.
Okay, I was a little bit off.
For the John Wooden game-worn Purdue jersey, 3-time All-American at Purdue.
Yeah, and there's not a lot from coaches to really collect. I mean, Wooden's autograph is nice and everything. These are actually plays in his hand from the Wizard of Westwood. So I think for a Wooden collector, these are just really unique and really cool, and this kind of shows you some of his expertise. And right now at like $2,250 right now, but I'm sorry, $2,500 right now. But really cool content from the best basketball coach of all time. I know people might talk about Coach K now, but if you really look into it, it would be John Wooden. I mean,
and on the UCLA letterhead and the letter, he was sending those to another coach, and I love what he wrote in the letter. He said the enclosed diagrams for out of bounds, basic set, and fast break are like most any formations. They work very well if you have the material to put them to use. It isn't what you do, but how you do it. Good ball players, not good plays, make good coaches. And that is solid advice and a great autograph from him. Really unique piece, and you could learn a lot from those diagrams too. Guarantee you those plays will still work if they came out of John Wooden's brain.
Would they work for me though? I don't
Probably know not, but I'll tell you what, in a few weeks, I'm going to start coaching my 7-year-old's basketball team. And
that's cool.
I will be instituting those plays. I have copies of them I took from online, and you can believe the 7-year-old YMCA Avengers are going to be running John Wooden's fast break and out of bounds plays. That's a guarantee.
Can't wait to see that. Keep us updated on that too.
Oh, absolutely. Don't you worry. So we talked a little bit about Michael Jordan earlier. And this next item is for the sneakerheads right here. Beautiful pair. 1985 unused original Air Jordan 1 Breeds sneakers with the string tag and the original box. And these are beyond pristine, Tony. The consignor said when they came out, he bought them, he put them away, and forgot about them until he consigned them here. Unbelievable.
That's incredible. How do you forget about them?
No. The entire story here is the condition. They are untouched, the finest retail specimens that we've ever encountered, not a hint of use, never on a foot. They were never taken out of the box, he said. And that 10.5, 850, 406 TH stamping on the insoles is glistening pure. You sneakerheads know what I'm talking about there. And yeah, so the original Jumpman string tag is attached and in pristine. The original $39.99 price tag is on there, Tony. What are they at right now?
I think it was 27,000 right now.
Yeah, so good investment at just under $40 there.
Wow.
The dual red and black
incredible.
laces are in the factory export state. Unbelievable pair here. I mean, it's like they just were created, and that's one that upgrades any sneakerhead's collection right there.
Absolutely. And we're talking basketball. We've got the Scott Williams collection, which, Scott Williams was a great player at North Carolina, a very valuable player with the Bulls as well on their championship teams. We've got his 1991 game used. We have his 1991 championship ring with a letter of authenticity from Scott Williams. This would be the first Bulls championship, so there's a lot of historical relevance on this piece. Right now, 52,500. For the longest time, the Bulls were the laughing stock of the league. They couldn't in the 80s. I mean, they had sparse crowds until Jordan got there, turned it around, and they finally, in 1991, they finally won a title. And this is their first ring. And we talk about, the first and the last. This is the first Bulls ring from a player, no less. So really, really cool item from his collection.
Yeah, and he, the only player to play with Jordan and LeBron. He had a very long NBA career.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
And he told us that after he graduated from UNC, also Jordan's alma mater, of course, he tried out. He didn't get drafted. He didn't make any teams. He was debating, am I going to hang it up? Am I going to try and play in Europe? And he played at a charity all-star game at UNC with Jordan, and he impressed Jordan. And Jordan went to Jerry Krause and said, you got to sign this guy. He's the piece we need. We need him on the team to win the title. They signed him. He had a locker right next to Jordan, right next to him, and they won the title that year. So believe it or not, Jordan was right about basketball. But when he was talking to Robert Wolonsky, our communications director, Scott was not a big collector. He was just learning about it. And he said, I can't believe how expensive these Jordan game-worn sneakers are. I was sitting next to him, and after games, he would just throw them away. Had I known they were going to be worth six figures, he said, I watched Jordan throw away millions of dollars his rookie year.
That's great. That's unbelievable content. I mean,
but there's some great items in his collection. A team signed ball, which is just in unreal condition, of course. They were signing it for themselves. The jacket, I love the jacket that he has from the after they won the three-peat. So very cool. Another great collection we have. Tony, you going to talk about that basketball?
Yeah, the 1992, and I don't know if one has ever been sold before. I mean, there have been 1992 team signed basketballs. This one was signed for Scott Williams, and all the autographs on this ball are amazing. They took their time, signed their full name. Just a wonderful, wonderful piece. But it's got one entire panel has Chicago Bulls 1992 World Champions, and just a gorgeous, gorgeous ball with really nice signatures, not the quick ones that they typically did. They did these for their teammates, so they took extra care doing it.
Yeah, we've got some Scott Williams game-worn jerseys in there as well. So, cool collection. And now we're going to switch to football. Another amazing collection. We've got two Hall of Fame player collections in the football section. Let's talk about Jack Youngblood. Hall of Famer, one of the greatest players of all time, one of the toughest players of all time. Tony played with a broken leg in a game. Can you imagine?
I'm going to tell you right now, Jack Youngblood today is still tough. And still, He is a wonderful man. His collection, he kept some helmets, not a lot of jerseys or anything, but right now he is enjoying a retirement and is a grandfather and is in awe of his granddaughter. I talked to him 2 days ago, and he is loving life right now.
Nice. So this is his 1977 game-worn LA Rams Pro Bowl helmet, celebrating the 76 season when he had 14 and a half sacks. And we believe that this was worn during the 75 and 76 season. A ton of use on this one, then repurposed for the Pro Bowl. So cool item, great game use here. What items do you like in the Young Blood?
I got a 74-75 game used helmet. He was telling me they would, say they would have their helmet, bring it out to the Pro Bowl. They spray paint them there, put that decal on there on the helmets, and they were off and ready to go. So it's a game used helmet from the regular season with the painting for the Pro Bowl. That's just what they did back then. Great helmet from him. It's never been offered before, and just a really, really quality piece from his collection. And also we've got the 1976 Defensive Player of the Year trophy presented to Jack Youngblood.
I got it sitting right here in front of me, Tony. There it is, right there.
You have it right there?
Very cool award.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, just some great defenses that he played on, and he was the anchor on those defenses. Tough player. I think he only missed one game in his entire career. And back in the 70s, they played with a lot of injuries on turf. There's a lot of aches and pains with the game, and how he only missed one game, that's just shocking to me.
Yeah, unbelievable. So great items in there. There's some award balls that he got. Great collection to dive into. And another Hall of Famer. Tony, did you bring this into the Dave Wilcox collection?
I did, and another just a quality individual. Dave Wilcox, hung out with him and his son, and his one son played in the XFL and also played for Mike Ditka with the Saints. His other son is coaching Cal right now.
Oh, nice. So, that's right.
Yeah, and the family is very, very
California
close.
People for sure.
Well, another thing is I had no idea was when I sat with Dave and his son that they're very close with the Herbert family, Justin Herbert. So
good.
There are a lot of connections. Herbert's is from Eugene as well, and they actually have. I think they might have an autograph from him when he was like a young kid. So they just really, it's funny. I mean, how these football families are, because I mean, the Herbert family and the Wilcox family, there's a lot of connections there. So yeah, it was.
So let's talk about some of the items. I got the 74 game worn San Francisco 49ers jersey, that classic look and great wear. One of the toughest linebackers ever to take the field, and 7-time Pro Bowler. And he wore this one his last year in San Francisco. We talk a lot, Tony, about the bookend items. So this is from his last season of his Hall of Fame career. What do you like from this collection?
The 67-68 is the one that it shows pretty good use. And it's funny. I was, they had a couple jerseys, and that was the one that showed really good wear. And just a great jersey from a Hall of Famer. And the 49ers, they had some very good teams in the mid to late 60s, and I never realized how good they were back then. They were very close to the Super Bowl a couple of times, but weren't quite able to make it. But really nice gamer from a Hall of Famers collection.
Nice. And then 2 more collections to talk about in the football section. And these are not from players, but people who I'm sure dreamed they could be. First is the Matt Swiatek collection, and he was George Halas's right-hand man for a long time, and he has some really unique items. I saw this in the department, Tony. It leapt out at me. This is a 1960s George Halas oversized photo, and this hung at Halas Hall. So that's Halas during his playing days there. And so it hung at the Bears headquarters in the 60s. And this is 30 by 40, Tony. Huge piece. and a really remarkable item for a Bears fan.
I mean, when you think of George Halas, he is the NFL. He's kind of the founding father of the league. And he was there. I mean, he passed away in, I think, 83 it was. So he was there for so much of the game's history. And I mean, he is literally the guy who founded the NFL. So some very important stuff. Also keep in mind, the Chicago Bears had a few fires throughout their existence. So that's taken away a lot of the material. A lot of their history is gone from fires that took place in the 50s and 60s. So there's not a lot of material out there from the Bears. And you're talking Halas. I mean, you're talking such a big figure in the game's history.
So cool. What do you like from this collection, Tony?
I liked a lot of it.
Yeah, let's hear. I really want to hear a Packers fan talk about the Bears collection.
I respect George Halas, because if it wasn't for George Halas, there may not be a Green Bay Packers, because he went to bat for that organization on a few instances. He said the NFL, that just reading too many books I think I'm doing, but the NFL is better when the Packers are relevant. But the coolest piece by far in this sale, as far as football goes, and we talked about it at the beginning, the 1939 Cardinals Wrigley Field rental contract signed by George Halas and Charles Bidwell.
Wow.
Again, I didn't know. I think I was gone at the National. And then when I came back is when I saw this. I had no idea that this came in. And Charles Bidwell is the second hardest autograph to find among Hall of Fame football figures. And it's Shorty Ray, and then number 2 is Bidwell. We sold a small little cut for $15,600. A letter went for $38,000 6 years ago. This here is a signed agreement signed by Halas and Bidwell. Just an unbelievably rare piece. And you'll probably you may never find another Bidwell of this quality to hit the auction block. So right now, $25,000, but I expect spirited bidding during the overtime session.
And it's got Halas's autograph, and it's the Wrigley Field rental. That is crazy.
There's just so much history there. And another piece, again, Chicago Bears flag flown over Wrigley Field. And when you want to talk aesthetics and how beautiful this piece is, you got the Bears, you got the stars, you got the football, you got a lot of things really, and it's in nice condition. Usually these flags were flown until they were kind of ready to be thrown away, but this one here is the exception. It looks in great condition, and just think, I mean, this flag was at Wrigley Field for probably a few years at least.
What a great display piece for a Bears.
It is, absolutely it is.
Very large as well. This one I've got really unique items. I like the strange and interesting ones, Tony. This is the 1930s George Halas personal seal of corporation stamps, and there's 3 of them. So this is George Halas's stamp of approval right here. 3 of them. And can you imagine how many important documents in NFL history were stamped with these?
Yes.
I can only imagine. I mean, I'd love to own these, and I'm not a Bears fan, but the history of these, this is like a Hall of Fame worthy item for sure. The Bears Hall of Fame, the way he shaped the league, and of course the Bears as well, and how many documents and what significant changes and innovations he must have stamped with these. What a cool piece.
I kind of want to bid on him now. My goodness. I'm serious.
Packers fans are not allowed to bid on.
Oh, that's right.
I'm sorry.
My grandfather would be rolling over in his grave if I bid on those. Yeah.
So the next collection we have is the Glenn Christensen Packers collection, the most incredible Packers collection on earth outside of the Packers Hall of Fame. And what city is it in, Tony?
It is outside of Dallas.
That's right, Dallas, Texas. It is certified as the largest display of Packers material outside of the Green Bay Packers Hall of Fame. And he has graciously given us some items to offer at auction. We had a few in the Platinum auction this summer. We have a few more. Very cool to get the opportunity to present them. And he has the most unique items, the things you think you'd never see. Of course, he's got autographs, he's got gamers, but I really love this collection. He has some very cool pieces. I love the Super Bowl II hat that they sold at Super Bowl II, and it's the little celebration hat. But this one had to bring this out. Of course, this is the Green Bay Packers multi-sign Go Pack Go display. And Tony, I was just imagining this on your wall there.
I got to clear it with the boss first. I'd have to clear it with the boss. No,
but it's got that vintage logo. Look at that. Yeah, so cool. And I like how it has the G in the helmet to form the first Go there. And then this is my favorite one from the collection. This is 1960s Green Bay Packers Utica beer sign. Tony, you ever had Utica beer?
I have not had Utica beer.
Does it still exist?
I've had some Wisconsin beer that was less than desirable, but I have never had Utica beer.
But look at that, Tony, and it's nice sized, and it's got Bart Starr featured on it. But if you think you have a cool Packers display or your man cave or your office, you don't until you have this hanging in that display. So very unique item. Tony, what do you like from this collection?
What I'll say about his collection, it's all encompassing. He did everything. He didn't just collect like most of us collect one type of thing. His collection has everything.
Yeah.
He has such a good history in displaying and in the printing business. So, he just did a book, I think, within the last 4 or 5 months. And that's got his collection, for everybody to see. And, I just love that his collection is so diverse and has everything from the beginning to even now. So, but there's a lot of items from his collection that I, of course, have affinity for. But there's one that really jumped out to me. It was the 1968 50-year anniversary banner. And again, these were made in very small quantities, never made for commercial use. They were on display in the city and at the stadium. So there's not a lot of these that have survived. And I just love that. Welcome 50 years, Green Bay Packers. Again, for a man cave, this would be one of the really, really cornerstone pieces.
Yeah, so cool. If you're a Packers fan, there is something you need in there, and probably every item is something you need in there. So we talked a lot about tickets tonight. That's really been exploding, and we have just an incredible collection of Tom Brady tickets. Tom Brady doing pretty good for himself right now. Tony, I saw the other day, he has thrown 152 touchdown passes since he turned 40. And one of my personal heroes, Hall of Famer Roger Staubach, threw 153 touchdown passes in his entire career. Wow. So Brady about to surpass him just after he turned 40. My other hero, Troy Aikman, threw 165 touchdown passes in his career. So he's right around the corner there. But some incredible Brady tickets, the finest that exist, are going to be closing tonight. So let's take a look at 3 of them. First, we have his signed, these are all signed, Foxborough debut ticket. And this is a PSA Mint 9 with a 9 autograph as well. That's the top of the pop for this. And unbelievable condition. Tony, you think Tom Brady's signing a lot of tickets these days?
No, the problem with that is he's not signing a lot of them. He has to deal with Fanatics. The prices have gotten so high. I have heard people say that he's not doing a lot of signings and he's not doing a lot of tickets. So just to get those signed now, it's going to be extremely expensive. So this is a great opportunity for people to get one of those signed tickets. And these are high grade tickets too. So yeah, you're really getting the best of both worlds. And again, we've mentioned it more than once. This stuff now has really gone up in value. The ticket market has exploded within the last 6 months.
Yeah, so this is from the game where Bledsoe got hurt and he came in to finish the game. That was at Foxborough. Then the next one is his first start, and this one is a PSA 10 with a 10 autograph on it. It does not get better than this for a Brady ticket, especially for this ticket. Unbelievable example here. And like you said, you're not getting another one of these. So this is essentially a 1 of 1. And then we also have, same season, of course, his first career touchdown ticket. And this one is a PSA 10 with a 10 autograph as well. How about that, Tony?
Yeah, it's just unbelievable. I mean, some of the best Brady tickets you could ever own. And, this is a guy that and we had this conversation today at the show. You keep thinking, how much more can his stuff go up? But he keeps winning. Yeah. And there's not going to be another guy that's going to win as much as he has. So I think it's a great opportunity. I think it's a great investment piece because I don't think there's going to be another Tom Brady ever again.
No. All right. What football items do you like, Tony?
1919 George Halas signed New York Yankees players contract. He was the guy when he got hurt. Who replaced him? Babe Ruth. So pretty interesting transition there.
This is one of the longest contracts I've ever seen as well.
Yes, it is. And if you look there, this thing was saved from the fire. It looks like, because you can see on the edges, some of them have that flame still. You can kind of see on the edges, but signed by Jacob Rupert and signed by Halas. I mean, this is such a historic piece. This is baseball and this is football. This is kind of everything. Of course, this would be his only contract with the Yankees. He probably made a pretty good career choice by basically inventing the NFL. So really cool piece.
You think he did all right there?
I think he did okay. Yeah.
All right. What else you got? Keep going, Tony. You're on a roll.
So we have 1976-77 Bill Belichick, which I'm a big fan of coaches. We have his playbook from the Detroit Lions, which is his second job. His first job was with the Colts. He was there a year. I think it was Ted Marchabroda hired him, but this was his first time on his own with the Lions. I mean, just think of this. I mean, what are the odds that something like this would have ever survived? And there's not a lot of things of him to collect. This has to be one of the earliest, if not the earliest, pieces from his Hall of Fame career. So really cool piece. And Belichick, he's going to go on as possibly the greatest coach of all time in NFL history. And that's coming from a Vince Lombardi fan. So really neat item from Belichick, very early as well.
All right, and you got one more.
I've got one more. Curly Lambeau. We talk about the Bears having those fires and all, a lot of their material being lost to time. Curly Lambeau is another one. His autograph is very valuable. There's just not a lot of them out there. And of course, being the founder of the Green Bay Packers, he'll always, in Lambeau Field, he's always going to be relevant. And right now we have a signed player's contract at $1,700, but a real nice full name, E.L. Lambeau signature. So a really cool Lambeau piece there. And, just some really quality football stuff in this auction. Of course, it's anchored by Wilcox and Youngblood and then the Bears Halas collection. So a lot of great material in this auction.
All right. And I've just been informed we're having a few technical issues with the bidding on the website. So just to adjust for that, we're going to extend this session 24 more hours to tomorrow night. And so if you're having issues on your end, not to worry, you'll get another 24 hours to bid. And we're taking care of the technical issues on our end, and they will be resolved shortly. So nothing to worry about. And Tony,
now what about for the final session? Does that move the final session too, or does that keep the final session tomorrow as well?
To be determined, Tony, but we will, of course, let everyone know. You can monitor here or on our social media channels as well. We'll be updating as we resolve these issues. So next, Tony, we talked about it at the open. We're going to talk about my favorite item in the auction. This is the Tom Landry worn hat. Unbelievable item. my head almost exploded when I saw this game. And Tony, you brought this in. Thank you very much. Of course, he roamed the sidelines in Dallas for 29 years and always wearing his trademark fedora. Highway 30 here in Dallas is named after him, the Tom Landry Freeway, and the signs for it have the hat on it. The overpasses have the hat on them as well. So a huge piece of football history, especially here in Dallas. And the important thing about this one is the provenance. So Coach Landry gifted this to B.J. Murray, who was the principal at Trinity High School here in Euless, a suburb of Dallas. And B.J. Murray was the only principal in the school's history, so he dubbed himself the Tom Landry of Trinity High School. Tom Landry got word of it, sent him this hat along with a letter on Amazing Cowboys letterhead. And the letter says, "It has been brought to my attention that you are the only principal that Trinity High School has ever employed. You have referred to yourself on 2 occasions as the Tom Landry of Trinity High School. One reference was to your faculty and the other to a parent-teacher group. In my opinion, if you were to continue doing this, you should look the part. Wear this hat to all your faculty and PTA meetings, and you will never again have to refer to yourself as the Tom Landry of Trinity High School. All will know because actions speak louder than words. Sincerely yours, Tom Landry, the only coach the Cowboys have ever had." Huge piece, Tony. It makes my heart aflutter just to think about it. And great piece of history here. And another very unique piece, of course. Like you said, not many of his hats, even though he wore them all the time, every game. Every time you saw him, he was in it. Very few have come into the collecting market, and here's an opportunity for one person to get one.
Yeah, and I mean, and it actually shows wear too, because when I first looked at it, my first thing was, well, is this thing going to be stone mint, or is it going to show wear? And it actually does show wear on the inside. So the provenance, the story to it. We say this all the time. You're buying the piece, but you're also buying the story. When you have both of them together like that, it adds so much to it.
No kidding. And while we're talking Cowboys, why not continue that? Because we also have a 2003 Jason Witten game-worn Cowboys jersey. That's his rookie season, Tony. So a rookie gamer from a soon-to-be Hall of Famer. He's got to wait the 5-year period, but he will definitely get in there. One of the greatest players in NFL history, at the top of the list among tight ends. And this has been photo matched to 6 games during his rookie season, including the game where he caught his first touchdown pass. So a huge piece here, and, checking a lot of boxes like we talk about. Hall of Fame player, rookie season, milestone, his first touchdown. Love this piece, and this is one that will certainly appreciate in value.
Yeah, absolutely, and especially when you will be able to add Hall of Fame to his credentials. My goodness, how can you beat that? His first touchdown, just a great item. And great use as well. I mean, that's what football collectors want. Use, repairs, that kind of thing. Photo matches. It's got everything.
So, as we said, having a few technical issues. So we are going to extend the session 24 hours. And we'll have extended bidding for this session to tomorrow night, Saturday, the 20th, at 10 p.m. Central Time. So you've got another 24 hours to bid on material. And we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be right back. Tony, I know you're a big art fan, and our fabulous art department just had a huge sale of an iconic piece. So take a look.
The Post was going to move from downtown Winchendon, and they were building this facility. My dad was in charge of getting money, and our priest was Father Tisdale. The paintings that Father Tisdale had, and quite an extensive collection, were upstairs on the 2nd floor. So he said, "Charles, go upstairs, look at the paintings, and pick any one you wish for the post. So my dad went upstairs, and he came down a little while later and said, I have a choice. And Father Tisdale said, well, which one do you want? And he said, obviously the veteran peeling potatoes with his mother. And Father Tisdale's comment was, well, you chose the most expensive one.
That's a good choice.
It was a very good choice.
With the comment, hang on to this painting for as long as you can.
I still remember Charlie telling me with his crooked finger, he said, he pointed at it, he said, I walked around again, pointed at it, and walked around, and the third time he said, that's the one. So.
Yes.
You see this great, amazing painting that resonates with so many of us. There's a very simple narrative going on in this painting, but there's so much that's being said just in their two facial expressions. Rockwell is the great American illustrator, the great American storyteller. He's Americana. Everybody knows Rockwell. He felt this very heavy responsibility to record American history and American lifestyle.
The painting came here, and it hung in the hallway above the stairs, going downstairs for probably 30 years. Nobody even realized its value, and all kinds of things happen in a post.
That's back when everybody was smoking in here.
Sure.
And anybody could have just lifted it off the wall
Absolutely.
and walked out the door, and they didn't know it was original until one day a gentleman came in to the post and went down. I'm not sure exactly who he talked to, but he mentioned, I'll give you $500 for that painting hanging in the wall, on your wall. And that's when all our officers went, whoa, we better look into this.
Right, like ding, ding, ding.
It was kind of a surprise to find that there was never any damage or any intent made to damage the
It's a miracle.
It is a miracle.
It really is. To see something so from, the 40s in such perfect condition is extraordinary.
Back in the older days, this beautiful hall that we're sitting in would be packed every Friday, every Saturday. And of course, every time they would do that, they rent the hall, the post would make money. So that disappeared.
When the word went around town that we were selling the painting, boy, there was a lot of people that did not want us to sell the painting. They didn't understand the underlying reasons why. They just heard that we were selling a Norman Rockwell, and they did not want us to sell it.
Even though most of us didn't want to do it, it's a heartbreaking, wrenching type of a situation, but financially, we said it's kind of like our last choice.
It was a tough decision.
It's a tough decision, I know.
It is what it is. It's like, if we didn't come up with some additional revenue, this building wouldn't be open. And we'd lose our charter, basically, if we lost the building, and all the members would kind of go away. We need to fix the parking lot.
You have some water coming in downstairs.
We need a new furnace. We need a new highway sign. There's a lot of repairs over a 60-year building, and the list goes on and on and on. That's one of the reasons why we're looking for money.
This hall here is where I had my wedding reception. This hall here is where my daughter had her wedding reception. The parties, the retirements, the celebrations, the veterans, the Memorial Day ceremonies. So I just think it would be so devastating to not only the veterans, but all our community members in general. And maybe Father Tisdale knew that someday that painting would save this post.
It's an icon in many ways. It's an homage to American culture and family and tradition and the military and good over evil and peace over wartime and Thanksgiving. I'm getting goosebumps myself.
If Rockwell's around and he could capture something, he'd capture us.
I know it.
I will. All right, we're back. How about that, Tony? Were you the purchaser of that painting? Or
no, but the story is so good. I mean, well, it's sad in a way. I mean that that they had to sell.
Good and sad. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it is. It's
But that's part of collecting is people have to part with things and they find a new custodian that will take care of them. Obviously, whoever wins that is going to take very good care of it and it finds a new home. For those just joining us, we had some technical issues with extended bidding for session 2 tonight. So we're extending session 2 24 more hours. So good news, you get 24 more hours to bid on the items you want. And so tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Central Time, we'll begin extended bidding for session 2 and session 3, which session 3 was set to close tomorrow night. It still is. And session 2 will be closing tomorrow night with extended bidding beginning at 10 p.m. Central Time. So you can still bid right now. No worries about your bids are being counted. They are. You can still bid live right now on every item in session 2 and 3, and they will close tomorrow. So, Tony, that gives us a little more time to talk about items.
I was going to say that, but you kind of
I cut you off
there, young man.
Sorry. Well, why don't you keep going? I see you had the Fritz Pollard autograph coming up.
Yeah,
next.
I mean, you want to talk a trailblazer? Fritz Pollard was a trailblazer, the first African-American coach, and he also played in the NFL in 1920. When the Hall of Fame in 2005, he died, and I think it was like 86, around 80 in the mid 80s, leaving not a lot of his autograph out there. Of course, he's one of the tougher Hall of Famers, but he is such a trailblazer, such a pioneer. You talk about Jackie Robinson. Well, this is basically the Jackie Robinson for the NFL. And his autograph is rare in any format. And here you got a pretty nice index card with the All-American 1916, Roseville 1916, and Brown University inscription. Great display piece, tough signature of a very, very relevant football player who I think will gain more and more value as years go on, and people really realize what he accomplished and what he did.
Very cool piece. We've had a lot of rare autographs in this.
We do, yeah, and I have a couple more here. I would love to talk about.
Keep going. I'm not stopping.
There's okay. We have a couple really rare goal line art cards. One being Dan Fortman from circa 1990. This is the goal line art proof postcard. Right now at 7,500. He went in the Hall of Fame, but he was battling dementia. And unfortunately, he did not sign very many of the Hall of Fame postcards. This is one of the few that he did sign. It's got a full letter from PSA DNA. Right now, 7,500. We did sell one of these for, I think it was like around 11 or 12,000 last year. So a very tough goal line art card. And the goal line art cards are just so beautifully done by, I think it was Gary Thomas. And these things, there's a couple toughies. This is the other one. This guy played with Vince Lombardi, Alex Wojciechowski. Oh man, this one always kills me.
You got it, Tony. You got it.
I'll just say Woj. How's that?
Before we move on from Dan Fortman, how much do you know about Dan Fortman's life, Tony?
I don't know a lot. I know, of course, that he played for the Browns, and he, what I know is he's a near impossible a goal line art autograph to get. That's what I do know.
So he graduated from high school when he was 16 years old. He was the valedictorian of his high school. He went to college, med school, and he graduated with his med degree when he was 19 years old. So unbelievable person. And then became one of the best players in the NFL while he was in med school, and he became a doctor after his career. So unbelievable human being. And yes, a very rare autograph as well, especially on the goal line art. Sorry to interrupt there.
We're going to go with Woj. How's that for our next one here? He is another tough goal line art autograph to get. This one here, just an absolutely stunner. Blue felt tip, great full name signature. Right now at $775, but this one I think will go up considerably because he's the one not very, very many people have. There's a couple that are stumbling blocks. This is one of them.
And one of my favorite items in the auction, I've got a lot of favorites, but this one stands out. You can see it right up here. This is the 1960-61 Baltimore Colts oversized promo nodder. Tony, that's 14 inches tall, and it is in incredible condition. As you know, you've handled a lot of nodders. They're tough to keep in good condition, especially ones that are 60-plus years old like this. And it looks beautiful. It still has spring. The head nods perfectly. I know you love these too, Tony.
Yeah, put it this way. When the call came in for that, I had it coordinated to be dropped off to the New York office because I don't like those things being shipped, especially, our shipping guys do such a great job, but to somebody that hasn't done this before, it's very difficult, especially on something like this. So they brought it down to the New York office, and it was actually driven to Dallas. These promo nodders, they made them in very small quantities. Some of them maybe a dozen, maybe at the most 2 dozen on some of them, and most of them were thrown away after the promotion was done. This is of course, larger size, and they sold the small ones in the stores. This was a store display, and there's just not very many surviving of these promo nodders. Great display pieces.
Oh yeah, this is one that
yeah,
I can barely take my eyes off it. I mean, I've got that. I've got the Tony Giese cutout right here. I've got the incredible Steph Curry art behind me. It's a lot to look at.
Absolutely, yeah, it is.
We talked about gamers and tickets and photos and rare autograph. One thing we haven't touched on yet is rings and awards, and we have a lot of those. And especially in football, we've got some amazing Super Bowl rings. And of course, this is the one I love. This is a 1992 Dallas Cowboys Super Bowl ring, that first one of the 90s. And this is one that was awarded to wide receiver Alvin Harper. He was the counterpart to Michael Irvin on those teams. He was the guy that stretched the field. He was, kind of ahead of his time as far as the jump ball receiver. He was very tall, long arms, had a huge vertical, and he would go up and get the passes from Troy. And so we have this ring, and then we also have Alvin Harper's ring from the next season, the back-to-back. So obviously the Cowboys, one of the flagship franchises, headed towards their 6th Super Bowl title this season. And if you want one of the Cowboys rings from the 90s, we've got 2 in this auction from those back-to-back Super Bowl championships. Tony, what rings do you like?
Yeah, I mean, back to the Cowboys. I mean, they had some of the absolute just monster teams of the 90s. Of course, it was the Cowboys and the 49ers and the Cowboys.
I can talk Cowboys all night if we want. So
I know you can. Trust me. I totally believe that. But I mean, their offense with their offensive line, great running game, Troy, and then those great receivers and Jay Novacek. I mean, they had just such a great offense. My goodness.
And I mean, for those 2 rings, they're definitely in the argument for greatest team of all time. So those collectors who like the top level items, you'd be hard pressed to find another ring you can get both of them back-to-back years tonight and tomorrow.
Yeah. I mean, 1990s football dominated by the Cowboys and the 49ers. In 94, the 49ers won their 5th Lombardi trophy. And this is their most current Super Bowl ring with the 5 oversized diamonds signifying their 5 championships. This is when this was given to an employee, and this is the A version ring. Right now it's at $18,500. Just a gorgeous ring. It's not over the top. A lot of the rings now are just way, way, way over the top. This one here, classy, but not too crazy. And this is the one that the players received. So, and then after that, we've got a 2002 Tampa Bay Buccaneers ring, which again is the A version. And this was presented to Johnny Parker, who was a strength coach. This is the first Buccaneers championship ring. And, we mentioned it in the write-up how they were the laughing stock of the NFL for, well, pretty much 2 decades, going into a third. Things got turned around, and they finally did win a Super Bowl, and now they've won a second Super Bowl. But just a nice first Buccaneers championship ring. So a gorgeous look to it too.
Yeah, I love that one as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, is it back on me now?
Also, we've got some really, really high-end Buffalo Bills game-worn jerseys. And, you'll see some of these from the, the early to mid-90s surface from time to time. A lot of times they don't have, like, really good wear. These are the total opposite here. Jim Kelly, photo match to September 4th of 1994. You got the dual patch. You got the 35th anniversary of the Bills, and you have the NFL 75th anniversary patch. But you also have the pants. You also have the undershirt, and you also have, I think you have the hand warmers as well. No, I'm sorry. You've got the jersey, the pants, and the undershirt.
I mean,
is photo match.
That enough, Tony? Isn't that enough?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I know. Look at me here. But no, I mean, from this time period, it's hard to find one with really good use. This one, you're talking Kelly, you're talking photo match. There's cracking on the numbers, which is a good thing. And there are repairs on it, which again, you would think a quarterback's not going to show much wear. But this one here, excellent use, 10,500. The sky's the limit on this piece. And the next one is, I mean, if you want a Bruce Smith game-worn jersey, this is it. Again, from 94, photo matched, definitely worn all season long. Again, you get the dual patches, extreme wear. When you think of a football jersey, you want to see use in the shoulder area. This has got hit marks. It's got repairs. It's got the B prefix. I think Leonard Smith was on the team as well. So just outstanding use with the pants, photo matched, for a Bills collector. And you are starting to see there's a lot more Bills collectors coming out of the woodwork now because they're winning again. They're relevant. They have a very, very, very good fan base. And it's obvious that they pay for really high quality jerseys. Fans pay for high quality jerseys. And this is one of the nicest Bruce Smiths you're going to ever find. So great.
We see everything, but we've seen so few Bruce Smith gamers.
You're right. And the ones you see, again, you don't usually see heavy use. Maybe a game's worth of use, but this one here, probably worn for half the season. So just outstanding wear.
All right, we're going to take a short break. As we said, if you're just joining us, we had some technical issues with the extended bidding. So session 2, which was supposed to close tonight, is going to close tomorrow night, Saturday night, same time, 10 p.m. Central Time. Session 3, which was set to close tomorrow night, will still be closing tomorrow night as scheduled. But bidding is open. You can go ahead and bid on any item in session 2 and 3. And session 2 will be closing tomorrow night. And as we said earlier, Tony, so many departments at Heritage. Go ahead and name them all, Tony.
I want to talk about some of these bids coming in, which is just amazing to me.
All right, go ahead.
I could name maybe a half a dozen.
All right, I won't make you do that.
I've been here 10 years.
You talk bids then. What do we got on the board right now?
Yeah, I mean, Don Mattingly, great player, borderline Hall of Famer. We've got a game-used bat and batting glove for right now. It's at $5,700, which is, I mean, my goodness, that is just an amazing, amazing number. I mean, again, Mattingly, great player, but my goodness, $5,700 for a 84, 85 early in his career game-used bat. It's just showing us all that the bat market is as strong as ever and just gaining more and more momentum.
Very cool. So everyone can keep an eye on the recent bid screen if you want to watch what we're looking at right now. But one of those other departments we have, Tony, is animation art, which is a very strong market right now. And they have an auction open. And let's take a look at what's going to be offered in that auction.
Hi, this is Jim Lentz, and welcome to our Art of Anime and Everything Cool Volume 2 sale. After the stunning success of our June anime auction, we are back with Volume 2. This 4-day sale boasts over 1,500 animation art lots, with 700 being anime-specific. The highlights to this anime selection are many. There is something definitely for every anime fan in this sale. First up is the artwork from the 1988 classic film Akira. This historic film is well represented in this sale, with one after another eye-grabbing lots. Tetsu, Kaneda, and plenty of motorcycle pieces dominate this amazing collection of one-of-a-kind production pieces. The globally popular Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z series is well represented in this sale. The best of production art is in this sale, with cells of Gohan, Vegeta, Piccolo, Trunks, Broly, Goku, Frieza, and much, much more. This is the single largest collection of Dragon Ball Z artwork we have ever brought to market. The art of Miyazaki and Studio Ghibli is certainly one of the most anticipated highlights of this sale. So many of this auction highlights lie within this section. Stunning and rare pieces from such films as Castle in the Sky, Porco Rosso, Princess Mononoke, My Neighbor Totoro, and Kiki's Delivery Service. The most popular characters in the history of anime are in this sale. Some of the highlights include our largest selection of colorful, eye-appealing originals from the Sailor Moon franchise, a dazzling collection of production art from the fan favorite Astro Boy, and last but not least, 2 incredibly rare production cells from the original Speed Racer. A new section in this anime sale pays homage to production anime drawings, both Doga and Jenga types, as well as exceptional rare original drawings from the hands of the greats in the field of anime. The highlight of this section has to be a Miyazaki signed original from Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. Now that's cool. With 700 of the best of anime lots to boast about, we could go on forever. We will end this highlights video by just saying artwork in this sale is from some of the most important anime films ever to be released. You'll see amazing production pieces from such films as Ghost in the Shell, Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust, Neon Genesis, Trigun, Ninja Scroll, Cowboy Bebop, Perfect Blue, Pokemon, Gundam, and the list goes on. In closing, we hope to see you all at the auction at Heritage Auctions in Dallas or online at halive.com. Also remember, you can order 2 catalogs for this sale through ha.com. We hope you find your favorite piece for your collection in our The Art of Anime and Everything Cool Volume 2 sale. On behalf of the team of cartoonologists here at Heritage Auctions, we wish you good luck in your bidding. Stay safe, choose joy, and stay tuned.
Tony, I know you're a big anime fan, so I'm sure you're very excited about that auction there.
I'm very inspired by his message at the end, actually.
Choose joy.
Yes, that was very, very well done.
That suits you, Tony, obviously. For those just joining us, we had some technical issues with extended bidding, so session 2 will be closing. We're extending it for 24 hours. It'll be closing tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Central Time, as will session 3, which was set to close tomorrow night as well. That will close on schedule tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Central Time with extended bidding starting then. One more item I want to talk about, and then we're going to get out of here, Tony. The 1976 Leroy Neiman painting of Thurman Munson. A beautiful piece that I remember the day it was brought into the office. Just stunning. Leroy Neiman, one of the most famous artists in the world, unquestionably the most famous sports-related artist, and his distinctive style on display here, no doubt. And what better year than 1976 for Thurman Munson? That's the captain that year. They made it to the World Series. Huge piece here. You've probably seen this work reproduced on prints and lithos, but this is the original painting by the master himself of the Yankee captain who tragically died too soon. And this, of course, 1976, the year he won the AL MVP. That's the year this was painted. And you know me, Tony, there's some great mustachery here with Thurman Munson, not to mention the sideburns there as well. Yeah, there they are. So that is included, of course, And great image of him with his hat backwards in the catching gear right there, the tools of ignorance, as some call it. But a cool piece. We've sold a lot of Neiman originals, and this is one of the finest that we've seen.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, we say this all the time. You almost have to see it to believe it. And it's something when you see it in person, it is just so beautiful, awe-inspiring. I mean, it's Munson, it's straight 70s, and it's Neiman. And it's just an absolute stunning piece. And when I saw it, you're right. When I saw it for the first time, it really just moved me. I mean, my goodness, it's, you know, you think of Munson. I still don't understand why he's not in the Hall of Fame. There is talk that he might go in the next month or two. So, you know,
doesn't every Yankee get in? Why isn't he in? That's the question.
I honestly cannot understand why he's not in. I mean, yeah. MVP, World Series champion, Gold Glove. I mean, he did everything, and he was a captain. And yeah. I just don't understand why he doesn't get more love. But this is, just an absolutely stunning piece done by Neiman.
He definitely gets love from collectors. You know, he's a favorite among collectors. Anything game used of his gets incredible prices. His autograph, which is very rare. And this is a really unique Munson piece, a one of a kind, of course. And I know Yankee fans have lithos of this. It's been on programs. It's been repurposed many times, but this is the original right here. So love to see something like that. Heritage Art Department, as we saw earlier, has sold some incredible pieces, and this one's right up there with them.
Yeah, so, well said.
So as we said, session 2, we're extending it 24 more hours. So we'll be closing tomorrow night, Saturday the 20th at 10 p.m. Central Time. We thank everybody who joined us tonight. It's always a lot of fun to talk about these items. You know, when you have 4,200 plus items in an auction, you could just go all night. And I know Tony could. He's going to stay up all night in his hotel room in Chicago and just keep talking about them to himself. I know he gives his cell phone out to a lot of people. So feel free to call or text him if you have anything you'd like to say. As always, you can reach out to us on our social media platforms, on all of them. You can message us there. And Tony, how can people reach you if they'd like to get in touch?
TonyG@ha.com. Send me an email. I'll be in Chicago all weekend. If anybody has anything they want to bring down, we got some really cool consignments today, which will be, it'll be on our social media coming up here. We also have a lot of really cool items coming in tomorrow. If anybody has any questions on any of the lots or anything, please send me an email. I'll be more than happy to help you out. And, we're thankful to have such a quality auction.
Yeah, and I'm at MikeP@ha.com. Happy to help if you need. Tony will be doing free appraisals and taking in consignments and giving out bear hugs at the show tomorrow, so be sure to do that.
Unlimited bear hugs.
Unlimited bear hugs. Those are not one-of-ones, I can tell you that. So as always, thank you to our consigners who trust us with their treasures, and thank you to the bidders who make all of this possible, of course. And a thank you to the staff in our marketing department who helps put on this show. There's 30 of them, actually. 20 of them do my hair and makeup. But the rest of them, I'm not sure what they do. But shout out to Tommy, who is running the show here and twisting dials and pushing buttons. I don't really know what he's doing over there, but it works. So thank you to him. And as always, I have to give a shout out to our operations team. They are the best in the business. They are the ones who actually handle the 70,000 plus lots we handle every year and make sure they get taken care of and are handled with the delicacy and respect that all of them deserve. They are the people that always deserve more thanks, and so we'll give it to them now. And to everyone out there, you have a great night and good luck in the auction.